Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none?
Yeah. Does the administration have anything to say about it?
Through the chair.
You're recognized, Madam Mayor.
So this was an item that was approved at the board, obviously, to negotiate in a way that would provide for safety with the fire and police access. And my understanding is, because we've been working very diligently with the developer to try to accommodate the conditions, is that we're still working on it. But the bottom line is we don't have anyone here from fire department and because of this funeral. And my understanding is that that's the primary department that would be affected because they needed to have the greater access to be able to bring the fireboat in and out from this location. So I only point out that we don't have anyone here because, of course, we had a funeral today. And it was, of course, last minute.
All right. All right. Seeing no further discussion on the dais, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Wait, who wants? No. All opposed, nay? All right. Show the item passed. All right. We're back on the pool list. And then we'll come back around for all the other motions and appointees and allocations. All right. Madam Attorney, is it in order to take up fluoride now, item 11A10?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
All right, I'm going to start this time with Commissioner Gonzalez as the sponsor. Given that last time he brought an item, he was not afforded the opportunity to explain it, and it was voted no before it even got to him. That was a first reading item, so it's very different, but nonetheless, you have the floor, and then I have two pooling commissioners for this one. So,
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to all my colleagues. I know it's 3 o'clock and everybody's tired, but this is an extremely important issue that we're going to vote on today. And after I present, I would like to allocate some time to our great Surgeon General so he can say some words. But colleagues, today I bring before you a proposal that I do not view as political, ideological, or partisan. I view this as prudent. This matter is not new to this body. In fact, the last time that this commission heard about this very item was in 2014 when County Commissioner Dennis Moss brought it before us. Today, I respectfully ask that we take a rational look at a decades-old practice and ask ourselves, does this still make sense for our time, for our families, for our future, and for this county and its residents? Water fluoridation began in 1945 and was adopted in Miami-Dade in 1958. At that time, folks, cigarettes were still being marketed as good for your lungs, and radium was being sold in consumer products. Those decisions were made in good faith with the science and understanding available at that time. But since then, science evolves. In 2015, the EPA under President Barack Obama lowered its recommendation for fluoride in drinking water to 0.7 ppm. Today, the same EPA is being asked by a federal court, by a court judge appointed by President Obama, to reevaluate even that amount due to the findings that fluoride may pose, and I quote from the decision, an unreasonable risk of injury to health or the environment. We must ask ourselves, if 2.4 ppm was once safe, then 1.2 ppm was safe, and now 0.7 ppm is supposedly safe, what will be safe tomorrow, folks? Will it be zero? I don't wish to relitigate the government's response to COVID-19. But having the Florida Surgeon General here has given me courage, because we cannot ignore that the public's growing perception that public health mandates, including lockdowns, school closures, and vaccine requirements, at times crossed the line into forced medicine and overreach. Florida fared better than most states, thanks to Dr. Ladapo and our governor, because we followed a cautious approach. Even still, I have heard some of my colleagues on this dais say they don't trust government. Sometimes I don't trust government, and I'm part of the government. And that mistrust is well placed. We're faced with this question. The broader lesson is this: when trust is lost and sound guidance can be met with doubt, our role as stewards of public health is to lead with humility, transparency, and restraint. Let us assume that by some measures, our concerns about fluoride are overstated. Even then, there is still only one reasonable path, and that is to err on the side of caution. We know enough to know that we don't know enough. In such cases, risk management does not demand certainty. It demands responsibility. Expert testimony moved the needle for me personally, but I'm not asking my colleagues to be 100% sure. I'm asking you to be reasonably careful. I am most concerned about the people who do not have a choice. Infants, children, pregnant women, especially those in undeserved communities. We already warned fluoride handlers to wear personal protective equipment. It corrodes our injection systems here in Miami-Dade County to the point that we spend $400,000 a year annually just to maintain those systems. If we would not allow this chemical to be added to baby formula, and I say that because I have a 6-month-old, why would we allow it in the drinking water that prepares that formula? This is not 1945. This is not 1958. The landscape of personal health and consumer choice has changed. Today, fluoride is widely available in toothpaste, mouthwash, supplements, dental treatments, and food that we eat. Here in Miami-Dade County, the following free and or lower cost resources are already available to residents: Seals on Wheels Dental Program, Community Smiles, Jesse Trice Community Health System, and Community Health of South Florida. No one is being denied access. If you need it, you are free to get it. What isn't free, what people lack at this very moment, is the freedom to opt out. Our residents cannot choose not to consume what is put in the public water supplies. In an era where personal responsibility and informed decision-making are paramount, forced mass medication, however well-intended, has become an outdated concept. Ending the use of potentially harmful additive whose benefit have diminished is not radical. Folks, it's rational. We would not be the first to act. Numerous jurisdictions across the country and the world have already ended water fluoridation, citing precisely to these very concerns. The state of Utah just became the first state to remove fluoride statewide. I personally spoke to the Attorney General, and I also spoke to the state legislator that carried that bill. They pointed me to a study they conducted with data from dental insurance claims for filings of children under 17 years old and younger over a 1-year period. They compared the claims in jurisdictions that participated in fluoridation versus those that did not, and their data showed no significant increases in the needs for fillings. Today's action falls under the guiding principles of do no harm. It is good government. It is sound judgment. It is the right thing to do. Ending decades of water fluoridation have given us ample data, robust debate, and changing perspectives. What is clear today is that the risk to reward balance has shifted. The choice before us is not about politics. It is about prudence, public health, and the principle of protecting those who cannot protect themselves. I ask for your support in passing this legislation for our families, for our future, and for the freedom to choose what goes into our bodies and our children's. And with that, I move the item.
Thank you, Commissioner. I second the item. Is there any debate or questions?
There's polling commissioners.
2 polling commissioners.
Commissioner District 7 and Commissioner District 1.
And Mr. Chairman, we also have the Florida Surgeon General and Dr. Ashley Mallon, who were promised that they could say some words.
Thank you, Mr. Surgeon General. Can you please approach the well? It's been a long day, as you can imagine. You've sat here, and I know you don't want to leave Miami, but you got to go home, right? So we're going to give you 2 minutes to make your position, and we just go from there. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for inviting me. Enjoyed listening to Commissioner Gonzalez share his words there, and he said prudence. I actually really enjoyed just hearing him make his argument. I think he makes a really good argument, and I want to come back. I want to focus on that word prudence. Okay. I know you all have heard the different positions in favoring the use of fluoride in water, and I of course support, and all of us here support good dental health. So this is not a discussion about whether we want to keep kids and adults from having cavities. So you've heard the arguments on the side that supports adding it to water systems. And you've heard arguments that talk about the scientific data behind concerns about neurotoxic effects, concerns about changes in behavior and intelligence even. So you've heard all of that. You've heard all that evidence. Well, I want to build on exactly what Commissioner Gonzalez was saying and come back to prudence. So if you, as the leaders of this community, make the decision to continue adding fluoride to water here, you have to believe one of two things. You either have to believe that all of those studies, all of the researchers, all of that work is wrong, incorrect, that there are no harms, or you have to believe that you are comfortable potentially harming some people in your community. Some of that research is right, but you are comfortable adding something to the water that could potentially hurt some of the people in the community, particularly children and pregnant women.
No.
It's one of those two. Either all of the research is wrong, or you're comfortable potentially harming a very special populations in our community. So I don't believe that all of the research is wrong. I don't believe that all of the scientists and all the published studies are wrong. I think that probably the research is probably accurate. And so that's why I've taken this position, and I won't talk about research in the last 1 second.
Sir, thank you very much for your comments, and thank you for taking a visit here to Miami-Dade County Chambers.
And I also urge
Have
you
a
all
great,
to
sir,
act now
sir,
and
sir,
not to
Miss,
wait for
I'm gonna turn your
Tallahassee.
mic off, please. Thank you. All right. District 7.
Thank you.
I do want to say thank
First-
you for coming out, though, because it is a long way from Tallahassee. Thank you, and for your patience. It's been a long day, and we did want to give you the respect that you deserve, so thank you.
Yes, and I'm glad we got to hear from him, because at the end he said, don't wait for Tallahassee, but the Commissioner of Agriculture, Wilson Simpson, called me this morning and asked me to wait for Tallahassee. He specifically said that we should wait till the end of the legislative session before we take up this issue. And by the way, currently in Tallahassee, SB 700 is being considered, and unlike this item, it has gone to committee. It has gone to 3 committees. It has been vetted, and the people who have voted on it have had the opportunity to hear from both sides. That has not occurred on this dais. This item was placed without going to committee in the BCC, and then it was deferred. And in that period, if it was not that important, if this was not about beating Tallahassee to the punch, it could have gone to committee and we would have had a discussion. I came as a courtesy to Commissioner Gonzalez, and I attended his committee to hear the presentation on fluoride because he asked me to, fully expecting that if there was an item, it would come to my committee, and it did not. And at that presentation, we said that there was not an item and this would not be voted on. And yet this item miraculously appeared 2 days later on an agenda for a BCC and was then deferred. So I moved to defer this item until at least the end of session. And should we take this up, we need to have a conversation about it where both sides are presented, and that has not happened. We don't even have the time to hear from our own department.
Mr. Chair, so I've already moved the
second.
item. It's been seconded. Can I respond? Because I'm very
My
disappointed.
deferral
hold on,
just got a
hold on.
second.
Point of order, deferrals take precedent, I believe.
Yes.
Yes, she's correct. The deferral does take precedent.
Can I respond? Because I'm very disappointed at the intellectual inconsistency that we have before this board. because you're citing right now to moving things out of committee. And let me tell you something. In the past 2 years, 154 items have been moved out of committee. 27 of those items have been for developers. One of those items was deferred indefinitely, moved out of committee, put in another committee, and then put forward on a committee. Okay? You voted for all of those items, including but not limited to free housing for child molesters in my district. And today, I'm sorry, but today, when we're talking about health and we're not talking about child molesters and developers, you take issue with it. That is
No, I take issue
the
with you not
epitome. That is the
understanding the
epitome of
process.
intellectual inconsistency. And I have the utmost respect for you. I admire you so much. I am so disappointed in you.
I'm disappointed in you for
Point of
not
order.
allowing this to
Okay,
go through
point
the
of
process.
Point of order. All right, Commissioner Gonzalez and Commissioner Regalado. We're both very passionate